Please read the disclaimer. XRP holders, they are finally going public, but who is they? Stick around to find out. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, moneymakers. Senators are saying the Clarity Act should be passed very soon. Are they full of it, or do they know something's going on? Of course, we got the daily sleep update. I know that most of you watch the videos just for that. My daily sleep updates. Today's a doozy, so you're going to want to stick around for that. Right now, XRP is sitting at $1.46. XRP hasn't moved that much since last night's video, where we talked reacting to the Fed decision, and then the Fed chairman speaking. You can see there a little bit of volatility, but not too much there for XRP. Bitcoin actually has fallen under 60,000 just a few minutes ago and bounced back. Sorry, under 70,000 and bounced back a little bit. Same here for Ethereum. So that's interesting. So XRP is actually holding better than Ethereum and Bitcoin, which both dropped about 1.36 and 1.44% in the last hour or so. And XRP is holding pretty nice. Like maybe we're going to see a delayed reaction. But for the most part, you can see the crypto market is a reddish here today. Even if we go to the crypto bubbles, you can see top 100 we want. Top 100, you can see lots of red here on the bubbles. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how the markets react today to the Fed decision, to what's happening in the Middle East. Oil still under 100. There was some attacks during the night and yesterday, and so they're not that. Where is it? Here, there, no, there, no. This. And President Trump did not like the fact that an oil field was hit by Israel. So he says to them, hold your horses a little bit, guys. Don't do anything that could hurt Qatar. And so they'll probably listen to him now. And he says here, no more attacks will be made by Israel on the oil fields, the gas fields, because that after yesterday's PPI print there, and the way the Fed was speaking, we can't afford the prices to go over 100, right? And so far, they're staying under. So, this is good. This is okay for now. Listen, I don't think that precious metals are holding so far, although silver is pulling back here today at 71, actually the lowest that it's been since February 5th, 6th, when it also dropped, right? Remember, when crypto was dropping, silver also dropped. So that's interesting, right? Where's gold? Gold is pulling back too. So interesting, gold and silver are back to levels that we hadn't seen since the beginning of February there. But I think that, gold has a higher probability not to drop 50%, whereas oil, right, if everything smoothens out, there's high probability that oil will come back to the 50s, right? Because you'll have, by the time that the conflict is over, you'll have the uncertainty, right, out of the picture. Now, of course, some of the infrastructure has been hit, but not in a capacity that would affect the markets long term. Yes, maybe the next 6 months, prices might fluctuate a little bit, but I think that we're going to see, as soon as the conflict is over, oil prices coming back to similar levels. I don't know if 50, but 70, 60, somewhere around that range is high probability. And again, that affects everything long term. That potentially affects what the next Fed chairman is going to do. And long term, I'm talking about a year and a half, that would affect what happens with the cryptocurrency market as well. Interestingly, we are getting closer and closer here for XRP to see a crossover here on the 1348 EMA. 2 days ago when we had that nice, 3 days ago actually, when we had the nice pop, we were looking at that, talking about the possibility of a crossover. Same thing for Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? We're very, very close to that happening. That could also be a factor why the market is pulling back a little bit, because many algos trade on this. And if they see this starting to happen, it might be in their program to start selling off at those levels. Okay, so that's also interesting. But again, all markets are pulling back here. Stock market fear and greed index just plunged to 18, which is the lowest since Thanksgiving. So a long time since November, a long time since we've seen such extreme fear in the stock market. Crypto market, of course, has had extreme fear for a long time and dropped down there to 23, back to extreme fear. So after 2 days of being in regular fear, we're back to extreme fear here for the crypto market, just 1 day. And if today continues the same way it is right now, we'll probably stay in similar levels as the markets kind of process what happened last night and what happened going forward. As always, right, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. Also, remember that I will never contact you on social media asking you to sign up to anything, to send me anything. Those are scammers, those are imposters. I will never DM you first asking you, how are you doing? Or some questions like that that I've seen in the past from that people have sent me screenshots from the scammers. Please be very careful out there. Don't click on any links, anything. Okay, I got a message yesterday from Anna or Yulia saying, "I changed my number. This is my new number. Click this link to add me on WhatsApp," or something like that. Of course, I didn't click anything, but you just gotta be careful and don't click on anything. Be careful out there. Okay. FTX announced its fourth distribution of 2.2 billion to creditors on March 31st. So we've seen actually this in the past have some effect on the crypto market. There has been some small pumps post FTX distribution. So maybe we'll see a little bit of a pump after this. It will be interesting. And now let's talk before we talk about the Clarity Act. This was came from Eleanor here. Says she said the SEC has approved the Nasdaq's plan to introduce tokenized trading for certain securities. The move will allow participants to opt to have trades in Russell 1000 stocks, as well as ETF tracking S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 settled as tokenized securities rather than traditional methods. Tokenized shares will trade alongside standard shares on some order books with identical tickers, prices, and investor rights. The depository company DTC will remain involved in clearing and settlement as part of the new initiative. So basically what will happen here, everything will be on chain. You won't have any market makers in the middle or the settlement time. And this is a big shift for the stock market. Again, it's all coming tokenized. And so this is the new day for the markets. Now, some Clarity Act news. We had here from Nick saying something important just happened on the Clarity Act. Senate Banking Chair Tim Scott said a stablecoin yield compromise will be in his hands by the end of the week, right? And this is what's been holding back the Clarity Act is the stablecoin compromise here, the yield. So this is a big update. The White House is reportedly ready to announce progress. This is the exact issue that has been blocking the bill for months, whether the stablecoins can pay yields to holders. Banks hate it, crypto wants it. Everyone will be a little unhappy is how one senator described the compromise. Any compromise, right? You're gonna have a situation where not everybody's happy. That's why it's a compromise, right? If it's a win, right? Then one side is happy, other side is not happy. When there's a compromise, both sides are probably giving up something, so they're both not going to be happy. And so this is how it's potentially might work. April markup, Easter recess, then the floor. 1 week could determine whether crypto gets its regulatory framework this year or waits until 2027. And Senator Loomis gave a major update. She said here,
a patience building process, but we're going to mark it up in April. We're going to mark it up after the Easter recess. We've accomplished so much since Labor Day by being patient, by working with the different stakeholders and the people who have to vote on this. So I just want to assure you, we really are going to get it out of the banking committee in April, and then we'll begin to match it up with the product that came out of the Ag Committee, which is the commodities portion of the bill. We're also going to have to deal with an ethics issue that the Banking Committee does not have jurisdiction over, and it has to do with elected officials' involvement with digital assets. But once we put those pieces together, I think we'll be able to get some time on the floor. Thankfully, Senator Thune has been very generous with giving us enough lead time, enough rope to try to corral all of the different parties and get a good bill on the floor that will have bipartisan support that we can get more than 60 votes on. What an amazing experience. Arduous, patience building.
So Senator Loomis, she also tweeted out clear rules, clear regulations, clear jurisdictions. That's what clarity is about. It's time to get digital asset market structure across the finish line. So it seems from all the reporting here and from Senator Loomis and from Tim Scott, the banking chair, the Senate banking chair, remember that's the Agriculture Committee, which is in charge of the commodities portion. They already got it through their committee. And the banking committee, which is the security portion, they still need to get it through, right? So it's interesting because we just heard the SEC and last night say that all cryptocurrency tokens currently are commodities. So basically the securities portion would be the tokenization of stocks, for example, and things like that already are securities. So interesting. We'll see how this plays out. Why is the stablecoin portion in that banking committee part? Maybe because if you get yield, it's under securities. I'm not a security lawyer, so I'm not sure, but maybe that's the reason why. I was actually wondering about this recently. We talked about strategy and BM&R, right? Tom Lee's company, and how they continue to buy Ethereum and Bitcoin respectively. And I was like, what's going on with Evernorth, right? They announced that there was going to be a XRP treasury company, right? So now we got an update that they have officially filed its Form S4 with the SEC. This marks a massive step for the $1+ billion XRP treasury vehicle as it prepares to list on the NASDAQ. The transition from confidential to public filing is now live. So basically, now they can go to the market and now they can start raising money through selling shares, like the same way that BM&R did and Strategy did. And so then potentially we can have a situation where, sorry, my wife just sent me a message if you heard that. it's not your WhatsApp. She's like, are you finished? Because the kids got Zoom, right? So now they can go public and they can start raising money through the selling of shares and potentially buying more XRP for their treasury vehicle, like treasury company. And so it will be very interesting to see how this is going to affect the price of XRP as well going forward. And Evernorth tweeted this out. It says, read this before you react to the Fed decision today. Well, that already passed, but XRP surpasses 7.7 million non-empty wallets for the first time in its 13-year history, with active addresses hitting 5-week peak of 46,000 on March 16th. Tokenized commodities on XRP have grown from 111 million to 1.14 billion in 2026, giving XRP over 15% of global tokenized commodities. Daily transactions on XRP surged to nearly 3 million in the last week, with AMM pools increasing to 27,000. Those metrics are the same at 3.5 or 3.75. So the numbers keep getting better for XRP and for XRPL, but the price action again keeps stable here or not where it was a few months ago. Let's say it like that. And again, the price of XRP, even if XRP is giving great numbers, the price goes up when there's more buying than selling. Okay, so even if there's good things that are happening, price action many times, again, we've talked about this before, doesn't necessarily equal good news. Okay, sometimes there's good news and prices go up. Sometimes there's good news and prices don't go up because there's a broader market, bad news or a concern that is weighing markets down. Okay, so that's very, very important to remember when we're looking at the price of XRP and what's the price of XRP. I know that many of you want to know, oh, what's the price prediction and how is XRP going to behave and all that for short-term traders, but nobody actually knows. Again, I've stated this before. I think that a lot of what's weighing down the market now is the Clarity Act. And you can see we're almost in April. So it's not that April is that far off, just a few more weeks going forward. And then we'll have some juice into the market. Remember, he says he has by the end of this week. So I think that if there's an announcement that Coinbase is good, the banks are good, then that will relieve a lot of the pressure, because then the probabilities of this passing jump significantly. And I think that might be one of the triggers that sends the market into a bullish movement. But again, maybe the market wants to wait for it to actually pass. We'll see. Again, that's what's so great about the markets, the speculation about what could potentially happen. Okay, so don't forget to smash the like button. Check out the links in the description down below. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.